Welcome to 101 Ways to Save the World. Recognise this? They're delicious and we nibble them down in seconds. But strawberries can travel up to 5,000 miles just to get to us. That means this tiny berry has produced a huge amount of carbon emissions as it's been chilled and transported to here. We all do it. We buy food and drinks that have taken a huge amount of energy just to reach us. Most of the time, we don't even know it. Food makes up more than a third of our carbon footprints. And that's scary. In a moment, our helpers Ryan and Grace are going to investigate how to keep those carbon emissions down. And I hope you're going to join in our competition because we've got some fantastic eco prizes for you to get your mitts on. First though, let's find out how some Tynesiders are cutting their carbon footprints.
My granddad grows his own tomatoes and strawberries and stuff. And I tried to grow a bit of garlic, but it didn't really work.
Buy organic food if I can, except I don't like the organic tomato ketchup.
I go down to my local butchers and I buy local produce.
I've got compost heap in the garden.
We used to eat lots of microwave meals and stuff, but now we cook everything from scratch.
Well, we've got an allotment and so we get quite a lot of our food from there, like vegetables, and it's organic, so it's like no pesticides.
Carbon coach Gareth arrives. Grace wants to find out how to reduce her carbon footprint.
Hi Grace, I'm Gareth, I'm your carbon coach.
Morning, would you like to come in?
Thanks. Grace, well thanks for getting involved in this. What are your favourite meals?
Favourite meal probably Sunday lunches with parsnips and roast potatoes. And my favourite drink would probably be Dr Pepper or a nice cup of tea in the morning.
Okay, can you show me where you keep your food?
Well, we keep sauces and cereals up here and jars, and we'll have crisps and breads in here.
Well, one of your challenges for next week will be to pick out some of your favourite foods and then we'll look at what contribution that makes to your carbon footprint.
Yeah, fine.
Another problem we've got to look at is what happens to the packaging waste from your food. Can you show me where that's recycled?
We'll recycle in this, and then we'll put garden waste in this, and the rest of the rubbish goes in here.
Well, for your second challenge this week, I'd like you to take one of these plastic bags and keep all your food packaging for the week, and then we'll have a look at them next week and see what you collect. Do you think one bag will be enough?
Probably not.
Well, take two, and we'll see how much you end up with.
Okay.
How much packaging will Grace produce? While she starts her projects, Gareth's off to meet Ryan.
Hi Ryan.
Hiya, come in.
So Ryan, what are your favourite foods?
My favourite foods are chicken, cabbage, fish from the chip shop, broccoli, potatoes, and the other dairy products.
So I believe you're a boxer, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have to watch what you eat for the boxing?
Yeah.
And have you been studying climate change at school?
Yeah, in geography.
What have you been learning about?
About how important the trees are, is how they supply oxygen.
Oh, excellent, good stuff. Well, we're going to be looking at how the food you eat can affect climate change, and I want to set you two challenges for the next week, if that's okay.
Yes.
First of all, I would like you to get together some of the foods that you like to eat, and secondly, I'd like you to take one of these plastic bags and fill all the food packaging that you produce over the next week into the plastic bag, and we'll have a look at it next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, well, we'll look forward to next week then. All right.
Hi.
Hi, Grace.
Hey.
What a labour of love. All their favourite snacks and pop. But how do these create so many carbon emissions?
Okay guys, thanks for bringing all this food in. As we discussed before, this represents a huge part of your carbon footprint and contribution to climate change. And we're going to talk about food miles first, which is how far the food travels before it ends up on your plate. Which of these types of food do you think have travelled the furthest?
Probably the fruit, because they'll have to come from somewhere warm.
Well, yes, those strawberries, I think, came from Holland, whereas the raspberries, you can see it says up here, chilled within 2 hours, and they've probably been flown here from Spain to get them here fast enough. If you do look at labels, this one you can see has got British flag on it, so they're making a big fuss of these parsnips coming from the UK, but in fact only 5% of the fruit and veg that we eat comes from the UK, most of it comes from abroad. Let's have a look at drink then. Does anybody know where cranberries come from?
Spain.
Actually, these cranberries, if you look at the pack, come from the USA, so they've travelled a long way as well. Can of cola. Now, the cola's made locally, but do you know where the aluminium for the can might come from?
No.
It might come all the way from Australia, and it's flown across, and it's processed usually in Germany first, and then sometimes in Scandinavia before it comes to the UK. All that effort goes into just making one can that you open, drink for a few seconds and throw away. Lastly, I was wondering who brought the water in?
Me.
This water comes from France, and it's been bottled up, and it's been shipped all the way up here for us to drink. A lot of people would just say, why not use the water in your tap? And plus, look at all this packaging as well. This all has to be made. Have you any ideas how you might reduce some of this packaging?
Could buy loose vegetables.
Yeah, certainly with parsnips. Could be loose, couldn't you? So you wouldn't need that plastic bag. I noticed when you brought your food in, you brought them in plastic carrier bags. Do you get new carrier bags every time you go to the supermarket?
Yeah.
Can you think of any ways of reducing?
You could reuse carrier bags.
You could reuse them, or you could use a bag for life, couldn't you? Speaking of packaging, should we go and have a look at the packaging you collected over the last week? So this is packaging. Did you really collect all this in just 1 week? Yeah. It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it more than you expected?
Yeah. I don't really eat that much, but I still fill 2 bags.
Does it make you think about reducing the packaging? You take a bit more?
Yeah.
Should we go and see what we can recycle then?
Yeah.
Even bottle tops are rescued from rubbish bins and transformed into works of art. Armed with their new information, Grace and Ryan set out to learn their food alternatives. They're finding out about food with a much smaller impact on their carbon footprints. The man with the answers? Local farmer Ian.
How are you doing?
Hello there.
Can I introduce Grace and Ryan,
Grace.
who want to ask you about your organic vegetables?
Yep.
So what can you get locally?
You can get just about everything that you can get in the supermarkets, except exotic varieties of vegetables and fruit and things, which have to come a long way. So we've got several varieties of potatoes here, cabbage, traditional cauliflower and a Romanesque cauliflower, which is a very unusual variety, Swedes, beetroot, just about everything.
But does that not cost more?
Yes, it does. And the reason for that is because organic farming uses no synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. In non-organic farming, there's a lot of artificial chemicals used which increase the yield of the crop. And because they produce more, they can sell it cheaper. Now, with organic farming, you're not producing as much. So in order to be able to pay all these bills, the farmer has to get a little bit more for it. But having said that conventional crops are a lot cheaper, there's a hidden cost, and the hidden cost is to the environment, because all the artificial fertilizers and pesticides use enormous quantities of fossil fuels to produce, which has a very detrimental effect on the environment. And the food is transported long distances to get to the supermarket, all of which contributes to pollution and global warming. So you're much better off buying local food, preferably organic, straight from the farm.
What do you do if you can't get out to a farm? And what do you do?
Quite a lot of farms nowadays have their own farm shop on the farm, but if you can't get out to the farm itself, you can have your vegetables delivered. There are in the northeast region, there are quite a few box delivery schemes now. The farmer will produce a selection of vegetables in your box, deliver it to your door. The advantage of buying local food is it's fresh, and because of that, it tastes better.
That's brilliant, thank you.
Okay.
From veg to fruit we can grow locally. Gavin at Brockbushes explains.
So what type of fruit can you grow here?
Fruit here, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, black currants, red currants, blueberries even, we've got those in this year as well. We start growing it in May, and then you can pick it all the way through till November time as well.
So what does it taste like?
Well, we'll just go and find out. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Now we're all getting peckish, and at last, it's time to sample a local veg box. A top TV chef's on his way to help.
Here you go.
I've got our veg, and here's the man who's going to cook it for us, Dave.
How are we doing, guys? Hungry?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I've got an awful lot of work today to make sure that I prepare you some delicious food. But to keep them tummies from rumbling, I thought I would prepare you a nice, healthy fruit smoothie. Have you had one of them before?
No.
You haven't, right? Okay, well, let's get cracking. This is the most fantastic drink. It's absolutely delicious. It keeps your tummies full, and it's also a good way of getting all the right things inside you, okay? So what we've got here, you can use any fruit, but we've got currants, and these currants have actually been grown in a back garden or an allotment. Means when you get a glut of them, you can just put them in your freezer and you've got berries all year round. And what we're going to add to this is some natural yoghurt, and this is yoghurt which has actually been made at home, or you can use shop bought, okay? Okay guys, the final magic ingredient today for our delicious healthy smoothie is this banana. This comes in its own packaging, as you can see. It's just a matter of taking the skin off. We're going to plop that straight into the smoothie. Now this is going to help fill you up. It's packed full of potassium just to make it even more healthy for you. Things don't get much easier, do they? Now it's just a matter of putting the lid on, pressing the button. Okay guys, one delicious, healthy fruit smoothie, which takes no time at all. Ironically enough, this is what I call fast food. It's going to keep you packed full of all the correct nutrients. It'll keep your tummy full and make sure them carbohydrates are keeping you packing a punch. Proof's in the taste though. What do you think?
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Well, busy day ahead. Let's get on with the cooking. Okay guys, hopefully it's been worth the wait. Here we have a very simple leek and potato soup. Now what you got to remember here that this is simple food, it hasn't travelled thousands of miles. This is leek and potatoes from just up the road. It's seasonal and hopefully it tastes delicious. Get stuck in and enjoy. Right, main course ladies and gentlemen, here we have a nice bit of pan-fried local halibut, which was caught just off Amble on Friday evening, I'll have you know, line caught. This is the largest our flatfish is. I'll serve that with a nice bit of roasted pepper and fresh basil butter. And on the table here, you have some lovely seasonal local root vegetables, which all I've done is combine them with a little bit of fresh mint, borlotti beans, and we have a Romanesque cauliflower.
Like the one at the farm?
Yeah. Do you want to try some?
Yeah, sure.
Enjoy, everybody.
Thank you. Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
What a way than to finish a great meal than with a great dessert. And hopefully this is no exception. I have you here a creme brulee, a classic French dessert. This has got a bit of a twist with some lovely seasonal local pears, which I've put a bit of cinnamon in, spiced, made into a puree, and hopefully when you crack under that lovely sugary topping, you'll find it at the bottom. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Dave, you've done a wonderful job. I think we should all toast the chef in tap water, which we've learned is best for the planet. To Dave. Cheers.
Dave.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
What a way to wash it down. A toast from local tap water, not a bottle from abroad. After the project, Ryan's decided to try growing his own smoothie ingredients. He and his mum now have their own strawberry plants. And Grace's family are planting blackberry and raspberry bushes. Dave showed us how cooking from scratch can be good for our taste buds as well as the planet. And Gareth reminded us, when we pop to the shop, look at the labels and reject that carrier bag. Right, it's time for our competition, and you could be drinking your own homemade smoothies. Or you could win one of our other fantastic eco prizes. We'd love to hear your ideas on how we can all cut our carbon footprints and slow down global warming. There are dozens of prizes for you to choose from, including this one, your own homemade smoothie maker. We'll even throw in a fresh supply of local strawberries to make your smoothies really yummy, or you could choose strawberry plants and grow your own ingredients. Just get your entries back as soon as possible for the prize draw. Now we've seen how all the choices we make about food and drink really can make a difference. And now it's time to remind ourselves of why it's worth it.